both Moldova and Georgia are currently in the news, and this is important for people to understand because Moldova fears that Russian forces are going to try to occupy the country, invade the country, to try to create further destabilization in the region in Putin's war against Ukraine in the West. Very practically, Russia, they have forces in Transnistria now, Russian forces. They've basically pulled a Crimea on it to snap off that region of Moldova for themselves. And they want the Russian Empire to go from Transnistria to Odessa, Ukraine, keep Crimea, and basically block Ukraine entirely from the sea. So that Ukraine would be a landlocked country. And that, of course, would be horrific. It'd be a massive economic warfare. It would cut Ukraine off from extremely important, lucrative trade routes that it needs to prop up its economy, all those jobs, the resources lost, never mind all the people living under a Russian brutal genocidal dictatorship. So Moldova has been, including the president, has been ringing the alarm, saying we see heightened activity of Russian forces trying to take over our country, seize the country in their ongoing war of Ukraine. So they want to basically pressure Ukraine from the West. Most of Russia's war is in the eastern region of Ukraine and Crimea, the east and south. And so by the Russians going into Moldova from their foothold in the region they seized years ago in Transnistria, they would then be able to launch military operations on Western Ukraine. From the west to the east, they would just take over and then they would push to Kiev and Ukraine is gone.
It would be really nice if our representatives could be consistent. Like if you are anti-corruption, you need to be anti-corruption like across the board and not, invite in a horrible dictator maniac when you feel like somehow, I guess, the calculations that will somehow get you money. In terms of Ukraine and Russia, we've been over this a million times with the left, like a dictator there is the same as like a dictator here, an imperialist, a capitalist, a plutocrat, an oligarch. Like if you don't like those things, in America, then you should not like them in Russia. And when Russia invades a sovereign nation, it's very obvious that you back the sovereign nation that it invades. Like this is, one of those very rare cut and dry conflicts. And so I don't know what these people are thinking. I'm thinking we need new candidates, but they are a mess. It would just be nice if there was some moral and ethical and strategic consistency, because the other thing is that, treating every case differently, especially when it's like a big obvious thing like Netanyahu being corrupt or Putin being evil, it's not a good policy for the protection of democracy in general. It makes the United States look, because this is the truth, like it doesn't have any core values, that it doesn't really take the, protection of democracy seriously. And nothing points to that more than the fact that we're the only nation in history to let a coup go unpunished and let one of the coup plotters, run for president again to try to retake the office that he tried to steal with violence. Like that just hasn't happened in history. Like as I've said, the closest analog happens in Germany in 1933, and we don't want to repeat that. But I don't know. It's not just like that no one has learned anything in the last 7 years. I feel like people have forgotten things. I feel like there was a clarity of mind in 2017, 2018 that has been eroded. And I know that we've been through so many horrible things, and then people try to rationalize their decisions maybe, when we're living in a climate of pain, but that just makes the pain deeper.